Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire. Today, we are joined by the star chef and co-owner of Trattoria Emilia and Emilietta. Known for his dedication to authentic Italian cuisine, he has introduced Melbourne to the culinary traditions of Emilia-Romagna. Welcome to Dining Room Stories, Mr. Francesco Rota.
What a presentation.
Ciao Francesco.
Francesco, how did you end up in Australia?
Actually by mistake. I came here with my friend Luca Flami, which is my business partner. We came here in 2008. He said to me, we were working one day, and he said, why don't we go to Australia? And I said, okay. I said yes without even thinking about where was it and why. But and yeah, so we decided to come here. To organize our trip was a bit stressful because once I realized it was a bit on the other side of the world, it was a bit stressful for me, for my parents, obviously, to tell them. So I was only 22 years old, really. And then, but then once we were on the airplane and we landed, it was like everything was great. It was beautiful. I fell in love with this place straight away. We landed straight away in Saint Kilda, and back then in 2008, Saint Kilda was the place to be. People everywhere. Actually, to say, a lot of Europeans back then, like Italy. I felt like I was in Italy almost.
Yeah. I mean, Australia in that sense is like there's been like immigration like since basically the beginning of the century, and there's a massive like great Italian community. I'll say like it's interesting when they say like you're fresh from the boat. It's still like an expression they use now. You come here with a plane, but actually the same. Because that stage was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks on the boat.
Yeah, it took a while, I think. Yeah.
Were you already a chef when you arrived, or?
Yeah, I've done cookery school in Salso Maggiore Terme, where they do Miss Italia, and I did my 5 years there. I got my diploma, and after that I started to work in a restaurant in Modena, because I'm from Modena. And back then was one probably the only restaurant that could compete with the Osteria Francescana. And they sent me there for a stage, so I worked for a few months for free as a working experience. And I loved the place straight away. I fell in love with the cooking. And then they took me under their wing, and I worked there for 1 year. And but at the same time, that was 2002, 2003. It was tough, especially because when you are 19, 18 years old, you don't think about cooking every day, all day for 16 hours a day. And that kind of burned me out a little bit. And, I was so passionate about it, but it was a bit too much to take in as a young guy. So I went off cooking for a while. And then, yes, I did different jobs, little jobs here and there. And then I took another job at Pavarotti's restaurant. Pavarotti's called Europa 92. That was a beautiful, like very quick experience. I got fired after 2 weeks.
What happened?
How was it to work with?
But like again, it's a new environment, completely different restaurant, a bit more rustic, very fast. And back then, Pavarotti used to do Pavarotti and Friends, the festival with all the massive stars.
Yeah.
I remember they used to cook, for U2, Bono, Kylie Minogue, Jamiroquai. And one day, I remember that this guy with the chef told me to do some sort of like a Salumi platter. And I left. I disappeared in the pastry area. And I came back after 1 hour. And the guy said, what the hell are you doing, man? And he came into the pastry section. And he saw these thousands of Salumi platters all around me. And he said, man, I've asked you to do 3, 3, and 3. I said, man, sorry. I told you said 30, 30, and 30. So, after
90 plates.
Yeah. Crazy. So the day after, everybody was eating salumi, and the owner came in, the co-owner with Pavarotti, and his name was Benito. He was copycat, bald guy with a single singlet, big. And I said, why are we having salumi? And everybody's like silence, and then the chef stand up. He said, look, this is what happened yesterday. We had a mistake, Francesco. This, and that. And I said, okay. And he looked at me. And I said, like, okay, I'm done. I'm gone. Anyway, a few days later, I called my father and I said, look, we can't. we can't keep the guy. He's doing too many. It's like it's costing us more than what actually he's doing. So
it was definitely a good experience anyway.
Yeah, that was another experience. Yeah.
2008, you came to Saint Kilda, Australia.
Yes.
Tell us about the journey from 2008 to Trattoria Emilia in 2015.
15, yes. It was a long journey to get there, to get ready to open up your own business. I started after 4 days that I landed here. I went to work at Danoi. It's a Sardinian restaurant in South Yarra, where I met pretty much my girlfriend, partner, Bianca. I met Van. I met Matteo, which is my actual business partner. And it was a bit weird because I was working there, just landed, still jet lag. And I heard this guy speaking in Italian. It was really kind of weird. And he had a very similar accent. And I turned around and said, "So, man, where are you from?" Obviously in Italy, because I couldn't speak a word of English. E said, "Hey, ciao, io sono di Modena." E ho detto, "Ma no, non ci posso credere, I can't believe it." And his name is Matteo. It's actually from Sassuolo, which is a little town very close to Modena. And then since then, we started to hang out together. He's 10 years older than me. It's a bit more mature, let's say. And back then I was 22, he was 32. I went to do all other experiences around Melbourne. I went to work in this beautiful fine dining restaurant, let's say, in Saint Kilda, Cirque de Prince. That was another experience that really shaped me a lot. Of course, I went there because I had enough of working with Italians. So I'm here to learn how to speak in English, right?
Yeah.
So I went to this place and that was really intense, really, really intense. I loved every minute of it. Worked really hard, lots of hours. But then I got to meet the greatest chef, I think, probably in the world. I met, Matt Wilkinson, the head chef, Ben Shewry, Shannon Bennett. We did a night with Matt Resfounds from Manoma. That was an amazing place up until when they closed, because obviously, I guess, financials, I don't know. After that, I went to work at Sarti, which is actually Marameo now. I've been there for 1 year. And then I went to work for Van's and Bianca's restaurant up in the country, the Tea Rooms of Yark, where they got 2 heads, best country restaurant. And then when they decided to close their restaurant as well, because it was like 3 hours away, it was a bit too hard, I guess, for customers to come every day. So it was more like a weekend restaurant. And once they decided to close that, a very well-known family knew they were closing, so they said, "Look, we love the food here. Why don't we get the chef and try to get something up and running for ourselves?" And that was when back then King Godfrey was starting to move the organizing the restaurant
in Carlton,
yes,
Street.
Carlton, yeah. And then I stayed there for 1 year, but it was taking a while. And meanwhile, I have a very good friend of ours, Maurizio. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore, but what a man. Was a very good friend with Con Christopoulos, another big restaurateur in Melbourne. So he put us in contact with Con, and really we had probably 2 meetings, 3 meetings. And Maurizio, which was his consigliere, said, "Look, these guys are amazing, just get them on." And it took, we went out for lunch one day, and we liked each other pretty, it's very straight away. He's a very low key kind of person under the radar, which like us, we don't like to flash around. And
that's why we're doing a television show.
But you forced me to do it. And actually, one day he asked me, because we didn't have a kitchen. I was unemployed back then, so we invited him over to my place and we cooked him a dinner. And the only question I remember he asking me was, "Would you put tagliatelle ragu on your menu?" I said, "Of course." And then Trattoria Emilia happened. So Con and Chris, let's say, financed the first, give us a hand to open up the restaurant. And then in the first year and a half, we were square again, paid all our debts. And then Trattoria Emilia started in 2015.
Yeah, beautiful, and it's an amazing restaurant. I've been there, and I love the hospitality and the feel when you get into the restaurant. It feels like that you take care of your guests, right? So, how did you create this beautiful feeling when you get into the restaurants?
I think it comes natural, really. We set up the restaurant, what we saw that back then in 2008, we didn't see many casual Italian place, trattoria. Melbourne was a bit different. Everything was about fine dining and modern food, and Melbourne is a very modern city.
Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel to get updates and keep enjoying the rest of the episode. Yeah.
And as we know, Australia's got very little traditions, but coming from Italy, traditions are huge, probably sometimes a bit too much. And we decided to bring our tradition here, but at the same time make it into a nice and fun area, like a fun restaurant. So we decided to bring our tradition here, but cook it up with the Melbourne vibe, still very Italian, but modern, and using new technique that back the nonnas didn't have. So we're using this new modern technique that which make food even better, taste better, look better. Presentation wise, we like it to keep it simple, using a few ingredients, top quality, and that's what Trattoria Emilia is all about. People like to come to our place because we're a very relaxed restaurant. You're laid back. You can do very whatever you want, really. We're not kind of stuffy. You don't make you feel uncomfortable. We make you feel like you're at home. So people feel very comfortable to come to us.
Yeah, definitely. That was my experience when I got there. I felt really welcome since the beginning, and then we sit there and the food was amazing. And for example, a dish I would say, or a plate that is pretty, we know in Italy it's called tigella.
Yes.
And can we say that it was your creation, or you actually brought it to Melbourne? So can you explain to our public what is tigella?
Well, tigella, it's a bread. It's a flat bread that comes from the up in the hills in Modena. Was created.
So the bread is on the hill, and then you.
Yeah, we grabbed it.
You grabbed the bread.
And it was created there. Obviously, Modenese, I think, most of Italian dishes, come from.
So I think we should probably explain a little bit. So where is Modena in Italy? I mean, Modena is famous for Ducati, I would say, no? At the end of the day, Ducati. So where is Modena?
Modena is more for Ferrari. Yes,
Ferrari,
it's the city of Città dei Motori.
Engine, I would say in English. Yeah.
Modena it's very it's well known for Ferrari, for balsamic vinegar, Pavarotti, of course, the Rifarmi, Parmigiano Reggiano, and Modena is in Emilia-Romagna, and that's where our name comes from, Trattoria Emilia, because Modena is on the Emilia side.
But Emilia-Romagna, they're two different
things. Very different.
Yeah, in Italy, they're different. Yeah. But it's beautiful because I come from the north. I come from Milano. But it's really, from my perspective, we love areas that are productive and where people actually do things. And I think Modena is one of those areas.
We work hard a lot.
Yeah,
it's
and also it's one of the best places for food, right? Parmigiano Reggiano is from there. When you get it's one of the best places.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and so you
very well.
You brought
not light food. It's not too light, but
Yeah. The other thing is it's a little bit fat, but that's my experience. So I had they recommended a lambrusco with the food, because usually the lambrusco with the fatty food, it's easier to digest.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a sparkly acidity as well. That kind of balance the fattiness of the prosciutto, parmigiano, or the beautiful pork that we have in Modena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a grape that grows naturally in our countryside. Yeah.
Francesco, you haven't told us what a tigella is.
Still, yes. Okay. Tigella is it's a flat bread that comes from the hills. Was kind of created from the Montanari. I can't remember the date now, but. It was a bread that was very simple, water, flour, and not even yeast. And then slowly became pretty commercial because all the nobles came from Modena. They were going from Modena to the hills. They started to eat this bread, and with different type of salumis. Up there, they are amazing. So they slowly became more commercial, and they started to kind of bring it down to the valley. That's where all the people started to enrich this tigella with pork fat. Some people put milk, yeast, and became more like a commercial food, still for rich people, but was be more noticed by other people as well. Actually, to be more precise, it's not tigella. Otherwise, they're gonna kill me. It's called crescentina.
Oh.
Yes, crescentina,
Like,
because the tigella. Yes, okay.
confusing us now,
Okay,
like-
okay.
Oh, it was tigella. No. All right.
So tigella is actually the stone that you put in the charcoal. Let's say, because back in the days you do it in a fireplace. You take out the charcoal, and you put these stones, which are the tigella, to heat up. Then when you have your dough ready, you put the two stones. You put the crescentina, which is the dough, between the two stones, which are the tigella, right? And the crescentina will grow, cresce, right? And that's your crescentina. But then slowly, when it came down into the valley, Modena Valley, I think it was like it's very hard, in Australia to call it crescentina. So tigella, it's easier to say, but at the same time,
It would be like crescentina. Crescentina.
I don't know
Like,
what they
yeah,
say.
no, I know what you mean. Like,
how would you say it, crescentina? Crescentina, yeah. It's a bit different. Tigella, it's easier,
Yeah, cool.
So then the actual name got swapped around. So crescentina, it's not being used anymore. Just just the real original use crescentina. But then tigella is actually the new name and more commercial.
Great story.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, after many years in the kitchen, how do you stay creative and motivated?
That's a good question. Well, you can't be a cook if you don't love it. I'm so passionate about it that I got hundreds of books, and my partner hates me for that. I keep buying books. I got lots of books. I love reading books about. I love stories about cooking. I love the history of cooking. I love modern dishes. I love every aspect of cooking. And one thing that keeps me inspired every day as well is working with young people. You can tell, I mean, not that I'm old, but when you work with 20 years old, 25 years old, they got this amazing energy to kind of channel and funnel this energy into be, disciplined. It has to be, to come to work every day, 9 o'clock, be sharp, be clean, shaved. You have to be nice and sharp. And that's what keeps me motivated. Young people coming in, seeing what they do, what they come up with, give them direction, tell them what to do, what not to do. And you kind of have to be like a dad, sort of.
Is it true that young people don't want to work anymore?
Absolutely not. I don't know what people say, but young people are the future generation, and it's up to us really to help them and motivate them and make them comfortable in what they did. I mean, I've been through a lot of restaurants in my past, and been in some places where I've been treated not very well, and that's obviously where I decided to stop cooking for a while, because like, why, I'm working like a dog, getting paid nothing, and why should I work for you that, you give me, nothing back?
So it's always about leadership, which is the biggest problem.
It's about, how to treat your people, how to treat the people that work with you. They're working with you for you.
Yeah.
So why you treat them like shit,
When you open Trattoria Emilia, have you faced any challenges at the beginning with your partners?
How long have you got? Every day is a challenge, really. Like, I remember the first 3 months of Trattoria Emilia, we were empty. So obviously, we opened up the doors, new restaurant, all the money that we had, put it in. So we were empty. I said, oh my God. And the customer that were coming.
Empty for 3 months.
3 months.
So like we went to work for
We
3
would probably
months
do-
every day,
Yeah,
90 days, and there was no people.
Working 5 days a week, 6
That
days
is
a week,
crazy.
morning to
So how do you feel?
horrible. And then the people that were coming, they were complaining. So I said, oh my God, we don't know how to cook anymore. And obviously that's when the big boys came. So guys, it's okay, stick to your gun, keep going, it's gonna be fine. And then when one night, stormy night, windy, cold, middle of winter, this guy walked in with his daughter, and I recognized him straight away because I said, this guy looks familiar, so I think he's a journalist. Obviously, we had there was probably the second table we're in the room, so it was him and another one. So we gave everything to that table as well. And he came back the following night. The following night came back and he ate everything else that he ate the night before. And I remember back then we used to have the tribe. We had quite a very rustic. Apart from one dish that was kind of sous vide. And nothing. A few days later, he gave me a call. He said, Francesco, my name is Michael Arden. I've been to your restaurant, and then we've been chatting for hours about what he ate, what he didn't hate, and nothing. Just a few months later, I think probably a few weeks later, I got this beautiful write-up on the Gourmet Traveler, and then everything happened with people queuing up, and yeah, since
like
then.
Gourmet Traveler, right?
Gourmet Traveler, yes.
And you said like that, so they actually wrote like a big piece
four,
of like
it was like
content
four
for you,
pages,
right?
like Trattoria. I can't remember the name of the title, but he said like Trattoria Emilia is the Ferrari, or Ferrari in Melbourne, or something like that. So something with Ferrari. Yeah, it was just absolutely gorgeous.
And that kind of started changing like after this.
Yeah, people
was more exposure.
People were
right?
lining up to come into the restaurant. Obviously, people, tears. I'm a very emotional guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually cried even when we opened up after COVID. That was another big challenge you were talking about. That was horrible. We've been closed for 8 months. You probably know very well, Omar. 8 months, 9 months.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
I removed it from my
closing.
memories.
And then I
don't
still
wanna talk
remember
about
when, what was his name? Dan Andrews. He said, from tomorrow, 3:30, you guys can open the bookings and start to trade. And from as soon as he said it, like 1 second later, the phone couldn't stop ringing. And I was there, back then we were making lasagna for takeaways. I couldn't stop crying. The phone kept ringing and I couldn't stop crying. It was like, wow, people still remember about us. 9 months, it's a long time. With a closed restaurant, empty restaurant.
That was
When you used to be full every day, it's like
in total, I believe was 2 years, and we had 6 lockdowns.
I lost all my hair.
Yeah, same. Like,
A long time.
we all yeah.
It was horrible. It
In
was tough. It was really hard.
That's great. So basically, what happened is like exposure, right? So you work hard and food is great and the atmosphere is amazing, but also like that moment increased like the exposure of the restaurant. And also like today, especially in Australia, it's really important to have like a presence on social media, presence online. Do you like doing videos? What do you think about that?
Well, we need to employ someone that does it very well.
Yeah.
And I do. I think these days you have to do your job very well. And if you can do something, you don't have to improvise. You have to delegate and get someone that does it for you. Otherwise, you're going nowhere. Especially because there's so much competition around.
Yes.
And if you don't do it properly, it's very easy, to be left behind. So you need to employ people that do the job for you. And
yeah. No, I agree. Like it's really important today, especially with digital marketing and there are different platforms. Like, so I've been doing like SEO for like 10 years, what we call search engine optimization. It was just Google, but now it's not just Google anymore. It's like search everywhere optimization.
Yeah.
So you need to be present on like TikTok and Instagram and Google and this. But at the end of the day, right, you're a chef. You like cooking, right? So if you think about like 10 years ago, you didn't have to do it. So now we have to.
Yeah.
And so it's important to build like a personal brand, but I'm curious to understand how do you feel about that? Is that something that you want to do or something that you...
Yes, I always wanted to do it from day one. But obviously, there was like many partners around. And back then, the finance went great. We started to do it, but we had a girl that she did an amazing job. But, she was doing between shifts and, it wasn't working as I wanted. But at the same time, I couldn't give it any input because it's not my job.
Yeah, I understand.
So slowly, obviously, the restaurant started to grow. The world started to go more faster, and then people wanted different things as well. And that's when we decided to make the extra step and actually created a position for a person to come in and say, you know what, I like what you do. You're like us, nice guy, take it over, and it's all yours. And then it seems like it's working okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. So do you prefer like today or you actually remembering the old times when it was better?
Definitely today.
Do you like that better?
Definitely
Okay, that's
today.
cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Even there's more exposure, but it's also like,
I mean, I like looking at the past to get inspiration. But if I look at my past, like the past was nice, but the present is better and the future is even better. I mean, we can create and shape our future the way we want it.
Yeah. And today we can consider the period as like the celebrity chef period.
Yeah.
Do you have any like someone that you already mentioned some chef that you really like?
An idol, sort of.
Yeah. Do you have like idols or someone that
you?
I don't know. Would you like to actually get someone to partner, come at your restaurant and do something? Because
I'm still waiting for Massimo Bottura. This is a call.
Okay.
Yeah. It's mine. I've been to every restaurant that he's got. I got all of his book. All the books are signed. And actually, when he came here into Melbourne for his presentation of Never Trust a Skinny Chef, it was 2017, 18. I went back with my backpack full of books. And I think I just opened up all the books and he lost it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So we had a bit of a chat, took a few pictures. Yeah, he's one of the guys that I would like to cook in my restaurant.
Great. So that's a call, eh?
Yes.
All right. So cool.
You've also had many celebrities dining at your restaurant.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some stories about
It's
that?
shocking. I couldn't believe it. I would never believe that it would come to the other side of the world and cook for amazing people, sporty people especially.
Can you mention some of them?
Come on, Omar, don't be...
The one that shocked me...
indiscreet.
Huh?
No, just say, don't be
There
indiscreet.
are pictures everywhere,
Well,
so I want to know.
The one that shocked me the most, that, I grew up following MotoGP, and the one that shocked me the most when I saw him, actually almost, I had 30 seconds when I couldn't understand what was going on, it was Valentino Rossi.
Grande Valentino, ti salutiamo.
Ciao.
Ci vedi.
Ciao, Valentino.
Ciao Valentino, leggenda.
And yes, that was unbelievable. Obviously, packed restaurant, and then we got a friend in common, Lorenzo. Ciao to Lorenzo. He said, "Look, I'm coming with Valentino stasera," and that was the first night, table of 10, and he didn't show up. I said, "Okay, whatever, Lorenzo. It's classic Lorenzo, never show up." The following night, so Francesco, I'm coming with 10 people. I said, "Okay." So he said, "Valentino?" I said, "Yes, I'm coming with Valentino." "Yeah, sure, no problem." And then one stage I see Valentino Rossi at the door, and one of the entree guys at the front would say, "Oh, Fra, Valentino's in your restaurant." He went pale, was completely white. I said, are you okay? It was all good. I couldn't speak anymore. And then I saw Valentino Rossi at the window. Trattoria Emilia is going to open kitchen, so you can see out. So and Valentino came to the door and went like this. "Hey, ciao, chef, come va?" And I was like, wow, Valentino Rossi is in my restaurant. I was like, oh my God. Obviously panic. Everybody going around with chicken, like chicken without a head. And then, okay, it's okay. Calm down. And we started back to work again. We said, actually, I remember he asked me for tortellini al ragù. I said, "Look, Valentino, you're Valentino, but tortellini al ragù non si possono fare. We can't do it." And then they ate like everything. Like they ate so much, gin and tonic. It was like kind of a party. It was so much fun. And then, the restaurant, I saw a few Italian guys sitting, they couldn't believe. So one guy was crying. I had tears out of his eyes. I thought, my God, like it's real, it's happening. And then after dinner, everybody left and actually called me to the table. We sat down and we chatted. And he seriously was unbelievable because he's a really nice guy. He was interested. He was asking me questions. He was, "Why are you here? How's the restaurant going?" That's very, very interested. It wasn't just for...
No, that's really interesting. Like, and I remember last time when I was eating there's like a big table with basically the Globo group, like the Italian newspaper that we got here in Melbourne, and then I got an interview, and it was amazing because like the whole atmosphere was so nice, and yeah, I felt like that kind of like this kind of party. And then we met them, we had a chat, and then it was really friendly. So I don't know, like you create this beautiful atmosphere there.
Yeah, I like to say, relax. Yeah, we like it to keep it nice and relaxed. We don't like to. We like to make people feel comfortable. Like they are at their home, and that's why they keep on coming. Every year, like we had Valentino many times, and all of his team, the academy, Uccio, like they come all the time. Bagnaia, Bastianini, Marini, Bezzecchi, they all come all the time,
Are celebrity diners demanding? How do you find them?
Well, it depends. Tennis players are, I wouldn't say demanding, but obviously they got the dietary requirements. But same as every customer that comes to the restaurant, like every day we have different hundreds of requests, vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, no vegetable oil, no sesame. It's like we got so many dietary requirements these days, so you have to kind of try as much as you can to make people happy. And of course, if a tennis player comes, especially if he's the number one in the world, we're gonna say, like, whatever, it's gonna happen.
What do tennis players eat when they come to your restaurants? What do they ask for?
Well, again, it depends, but Yannick Sinner was like definitely pasta al pomodoro.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Simple.
pasta pomodoro, but gluten free.
Okay.
Berrettini was the one where we created this Spaghetti Berrettini, no? And
What was that?
I remember that was between COVID. I can't remember now which year was it. 2019, 18, 21. Man, I said 19, 18, 21. When we were closed and we all had COVID at the restaurant, so we stayed closed for an extra week. So I got this phone call from a friend of mine, Dario, which is the guy. Salutiamo Dario. Ciao Dario.
Ciao Dario.
And he said, look, I'm here with Matteo Berrettini. I said, yes. And we're looking for some place to go for dinner. I said, okay. And I've started to think about it. So look, I can't think of anything right now. Let me think about it and I'll give you a call back. And I was there sitting on the couch, probably watching something, I don't know. And my partner said, who was that? Oh, that was Dario. If I see with Berrettini. And she said, Matteo Berrettini. I thought, sì, facciamo Matteo Berrettini. But what do you want? I want dinner. I said, what the hell are you doing here? Just go and cook dinner for him. So I went to the restaurant. And because back then we were trying this new kind of caprese dish. So with different type of tomatoes cooked in different ways. So I was there, I had these few ingredients. The restaurant was still closed. So I came up with this, we had different type of tomato cooked in different ways. So I put them all together, blitzed them into a sauce, which is very tomatoey, super tasty, sweet, a little bit acidic. And I said, look guys, this is what I got tonight. But I had the restaurant just set up for them, 5 people. Back then it came with Vincenzo Santo Padre. And nothing, they sat down, they had this spaghettini. And since then, I can't stop cooking it. Like everybody, even other players, when they come, they say, can you please have the spaghetti Berrettini with the Berrettini sauce?
Do you actually have them on the menu?
Next year, next year I will, because people keep asking for it. So
I'm gonna ask for it.
Yeah,
we're gonna try them next time. But so do you actually handle, like, I don't know, these are like celebrity people, of course. But I think like not just them, everyone deserve like the same treatment, right? So how do you handle, like, let's say when you got bookings and then they show up and they didn't tell you the requirement before, did you actually change the menu and cook on the spot?
We try to
say, no, I can't do it.
No. We try to please everyone, really. Like we try. It's hospitality. It's hard. Trust me, it's not easy. It's really, especially when you have, 6 docker away at the same time, different, degustation a la carte, and you got different dietary requirements. You really need to stop and think, sit there, and see what you got around as well, because we change menus seasonally, so it's really hard to adapt. But at the same time, if you have a system where you can, you got different ideas that you can follow, so it's very easy to, say no fish, okay, no eggs, gluten-free, dairy-free, and this is like the main dietaries. But obviously there is even more complicated one.
In the restaurant business, we share the same values. I wrote it in my book, Creating Emotions. People won't remember what they ate, but they always remember how you made them feel.
Exactly, yeah.
So
and that's why they come back. You make them feel like they are someone as well, because you care a lot, and it's hospitality.
Yeah, so that's also, it's about the hospitality, and of course, like it's gonna be different for you to organize like something on the spot if someone asks you to actually make a change. But if you got that, if you know that before, it's gonna be easier for you to actually organize a great experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Most people, obviously, when they make a booking, they tell you before.
Yeah.
But some people, I don't know, they forget. I guess I don't know. They are vegetarian, they forget, or they don't eat fish that night. But for example, at the same time, we had people where we say, I don't eat meat, and then they eat, gnocco fritto with prosciutto because it's amazing, and then when you get a little bit like, that wasn't, really a vegetarian dish, but it's hard.
It's the same thing. Like, for example, like I think in the Sri Lankan culture, when they say I'm vegetarian, they're also pescatarian. So they eat fish. Right. Like, so it also depends. Like, so you say that sometimes like you got people that they say I don't eat meat, but they eat prosciutto.
Yeah.
Because what they think.
Or for example, we had people they're gluten free, or they eat gnocco fritto, or they don't eat pork. They don't want pork as a main, but gnocco fritto is fine.
But sometimes gluten free is a little bit of a trend of a diet. It's very hard to.
It depends on the table, right?
To
find.
Yes, it's trendy, but it's not trendy in the kitchen when you got 1,000 people to look after. And obviously, people, chefs, myself go down quite a few times because you got this type. They have to stop. And more dockets pile up. You have to do desserts. It's like it's not
but
easy.
sometimes customers They don't know that.
They need to
They
know
think
that.
you got something in the
They need to know
kitchen.
that.
The only thing customer can say is like when you make a mistake, they're like,
Yeah, easy to
Right?
point it out. Yeah,
They
but
point
then you
it-
can't point it out when they do something on the table that it's not really.
Francesco, what legacy are you leaving behind Trattoria Emilia and Emilietta?
That's a big question. Legacy, it's a big word. I don't even know what it means, but we're still building. We're still building. We're new. This year we're gonna be 10 years old, and
Is there something new coming?
yes. Well, Emilietta is the new tigella business that we have at the front. We're opening, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're gonna open a wine bar next door as well, which is gonna be an extension of Trattoria Emilia, serving snacks and serving beautiful wines. Again,
you got a date already? Like, can we?
no,
announce?
it's a work in progress. We're talking to the landlord, talking to
Okay.
banks. Yeah,
I
I got a menu ready to go. Wines list. Everything is ready to go. We're just waiting for these people to say, "This is what it is. Let's do it."
So because you got established like venues, but also you're starting a new one. What would you say to like a younger restaurateur, like, or someone that is just getting into the business? What would you tell them to do? Like some recommendations?
I mean, the way that I did it wasn't when I came. I came here like you guys. Seriously, a backpacker. But with that, I saw the opportunity, and everybody keeps saying, "Oh, believe in yourself." Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, you need to work. You need to work hard for what you like, and follow your passion. The passion is what drives me every day. I get excited when I go to the market, so beautiful fish, beautiful tomatoes, or beautiful potatoes, pork, steaks. When you see like ingredients are really a big thing for me. And obviously the biggest reason why I'm cooking is because of the customers. Customers come to the restaurant and they smile. They come to the door and they say, "Man, that was amazing. That was beautiful." Some people say, it's better than in Italy. It's like,
Yeah, that we can discuss. No. I have a lot of friends actually, like, because I travel a lot, and there's like the best Italian food is outside Italy. And
Well, look,
it's actually a thing.
when
They-
Ben Shewry says that, I actually had to sit down when he told us. I was like, no, 1 second, this is too big. I sat down, I was like, let's talk about it. I've been to many restaurants in Italy. The brodo for tortellini was very weak. Yours is amazing. I can tell you put different type of meat in here. And he actually analyzed every single bit that he ate in his mouth. And I was like, wow.
But also,
I
like,
believe him,
because like for example, the Melbourne like food scene is really competitive. So you're
Yeah,
a
very.
chef and like you want to actually play at the highest level, right? So
Yeah.
it's also possible that you can get to a trattoria in Italy and it's like that kind of experience. It's like a family experience that we love it as Italians, but possibly like everyone has different tastes. So I understand that could be like a different, yeah.
What I learned throughout the years is that to not put too much pressure on yourself and on others. And that was one thing that I learned. That was the biggest possible thing that I can say. Do not put too much pressure on yourself, but then keep working and keep getting better. Read, study, and that's the best way to become.
Yeah, I think it's great. And also like the Italian cuisine is kind of changing, and it changes in different places of the world. For example, New York is a big spot for the Italian community. Melbourne is like a really important city. What do you think about that? What do you like, and what is something that you think is not acceptable for fusion? Not talking about pineapple on the pizza, not something like more sophisticated, right?
I mean, these days you see everything really on a dish. I think everything is acceptable, just depends on your palate. I think if you like it, if you don't, and it's not that it's not acceptable or not. I mean, if you like it, it's great. If you don't, next. I think.
It's like, so the food passes through your mouth first before it goes to the customer. So that's like, so you go to the market, you choose the products, and then you choose how to cook them.
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
that's
And then we test it, we try it all together. We try the kitchen first, otherwise we start to get into fights with the floor staff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's
No, we test it in the kitchen first.
So it's not the
a
opposite.
few times.
It's not the opposite way. So you don't follow like the customer taste, but like you're actually leading the taste from the restaurant.
Well,
right?
well, obviously we listen to, for example, I'll give you an example. We can't take off our vitello tonnato from the menu or gnocco fritto. We tried, and people come and they say, "Where is it?" Obviously, we put it back. But at the same time, for example, where I created a tortellone dish, which doesn't exist back in Modena, which is like a mix of a tortellini and tortellone solerese, which is like the little town where my mom is a cook. We put them together. We created a sauce, a Parmesan sauce with Parmigiano Reggiano, Grana Padano. We top it with balsamic, which it looks like a classic dish, but it's something that you don't see back in Italy. When you create something like that, you create it following your palate, what you like and what you're used to. When I'm lucky that my mom is a great cook. My nonna was a great cook. So I grew up with this, like, I don't want to say developed palate, but I know what I like and what makes my mouth like salivate so much that it's amazing. And once you understand that you can put on the menu, and when people have it and they have the same reaction, that what gives me goosebumps. That's when you understand that food works. And when you make people happy, it's
amazing. I can see like the passion coming from your energy and from your heart.
Yeah, I love it.
Francesco, what would you say like to a younger self? Like if you have like a tip or something you would like to tell to yourself, what would you say?
What would I say? I like what I've done so far. I like what I've done, and going back, I would have said no to Massimo Bottura when he asked me to work for him once. I was a bit too young, and I was actually in love with Australia. I've just been here for 2 years, and I loved it so much. I said, look, I don't want to, come back and restart everything again. But I would have said yes now with the Seno di Poi. And keep believing in yourself, keep working hard, and results will come.
Yes.
Francesco, thank you so much. For us, it was an honor and a pleasure having you at Dining Room Stories. Grazie mille. Go and visit Francesco at Trattoria Emilia.
Yeah,
Ciao.
grazie mille Francesco
Grazie mille.
per essere stato con noi oggi. Ciao a tutti. Hey guys, thanks for watching the episode. I'm gonna see you in the next one.
Welcome to Dining Room Stories with Domar and Andrea, where we take you behind the scenes of the restaurant business world with stories and conversation that inspire.